Hey, folks, welcome back. Listen, I want to apologize if you watched this show from the beginning and you missed my opening remarks. You missed the first part of the Dinesh D'Souza interview. But if you stick around, this show is rebroadcast at least one more time, and we're going to run the whole thing in its entirety. We had technical difficulties, and I apologize for that. But Dinesh will air in its entirety. We're also going to air it on my 7 p.m. show, the Steve Malzberg Show. So make sure you are tuned in to all of that all day long. Joining me now on the Malzberg panel, Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, president of BOND, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, syndicated radio host and author of The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. And joining me, Brad Hirschfield, president of CLAL and author of You Don't Have to Be Wrong for Me to Be Right. All right, let me start with you, Jesse, and let me ask you this. Donald Trump, and I just addressed this with Dinesh D'Souza, Donald Trump has lamented the fact, and Lindsey Graham has in fact said no rights for this alleged bomber, and I know that's a key word there, but still in all, is he an enemy combatant who should be taken to Gitmo, or should he be read his rights and given the best lawyer and the best hospital treatment and everything else?
He is an enemy of the United States of America, and he should be treated as such. He should be taken to the military base and dealt with, or Gitmo and dealt with, because these people hate us, Steve. They want to kill us because we will not accept their so-called religion. They hate the big Satan, and they hate the little Satan, which is Israel, in their mind. So they need to be treated as such. Barack Obama would never do that, but that's what needs to be done.
All right, Brad, what say you? I hate that expression, but I'll ask it anyway.
There is no question that if this guy did what he certainly seems to have done, he is an enemy of the United States.
Yeah.
He is an enemy of all that we stand for and is good, right, and best about this country. That said, many criminals are in that same boat, and as tempting and as morally right as it may be on the one hand to treat him in a military court, it turns out that that is not the spirit of our laws or our Constitution. So this is one of those moments when what we want to do and what we actually feel justified in doing come up against our legal commitments that are also part of what make us great. So we're going to have to balance those ways in some way that are meaningful. Otherwise, we end up becoming more like our enemies, which we dare not ever do.
Well,
go ahead, Reverend.
There's a difference between being a criminal and an enemy. This man appears to want to kill all of us. Never mind whether we're male or female, black or white. He wants to kill the Christians, and he doesn't care about anything else. A criminal is when you go out and rob a bank, or you might kill somebody.
Reverend, that's not the legal distinction. That's not the legal distinction.
This
so
guy,
I appreciate the emotional. I appreciate the emotional.
Reverend, let the Reverend finish, Brad. I'll go right back to you. Go ahead, Reverend.
Okay.
It appears that this guy went over to Afghanistan several times, or at least a couple of times, and he was brainwashed over there, it appears to be, and he would turn against America. He hate, according to the report, he hates America. He's not just hating an individual. And because he's an enemy of this country, he should be treated as such. And I have to tell you, Steve, if we don't treat him as he is an enemy of this country, we're going to have hell to pay in America. It's going to get worse rather than getting better.
Brad, if we change the law, and I don't know I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a constitutional scholar, so I don't know. I assume the law could be changed with a vote of Congress and then the President of the United States signing the bill. If I'm right and it can be done that way, would you favor doing it?
I would certainly want to have that conversation. I think the key here, and the Reverend did say something about which we agree, if we can demonstrate that whether it was overseas or frankly sitting at a computer terminal, right, he acted as an agent of some larger military or terrorist organization, then it switches from being a criminal act Two, what could be militarily prosecuted. See, it's not about their intent. If he did what he seems to have done, he's a hateful murderer and should never see the light of day. But how we get there is about us, not about him.
He's a radical jihadist who did it for Allah. I mean, he's not a hateful murderer.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
100% right. They're not mutually
Okay,
exclusive.
all right. I want to put something up. That was written, we put 150 up, guys, thank you. That was written in the New York Times today, an op-ed by the Mayor de Blasio of New York, the Mayor of London, and the Mayor of Paris jointly. In the aftermath of an explosive device going off in the Chelsea neighborhood of New York last weekend and other attacks in cities throughout the world, we recognize that the security of all our residents is paramount in large, open, democratic societies. But it is wrong to characterize immigrant and refugee communities as radical and dangerous. In our experience, militant violence is vanishingly rare. And then they go on to talk about how we got to keep letting the refugees into these cities to combat xenophobia. Reverend, to me, this is sick, twisted, in your face. The timing couldn't be worse. It's purposely done. And these are out of touch, sick individuals.
These are, it's amazing to hear the mayor say that. You would think that he would have the folks in New York interests at hand first, but it's not. These people are radical Islamic Muslims who hate America. They need to be treated as such. As a matter of fact, in Chelsea, New York, there is predominantly a homosexual community, and some are saying that this guy had an intent to take out the homosexuals.
Right. His ex-girlfriend says he hated gays.
Yeah. And we just saw that happen down in Florida.
Right.
This man appeared to have wanted to take out the homosexuals. They want to kill us, Steve, and for the mayor to say that is absolutely evil.
Yep.
It doesn't seem as though he supports the citizens there in New York. Also, Donald Trump is right. We have to go tough on these people. We can't play games with this. And if America elect Hillary Clinton for the next president, it would be Barack Obama in a dress. Things are not going to get better. They will only get worse. We can no longer put American lives at risk pretending that these people are just thugs who are just killing us because they had nothing else to do. It doesn't make sense.
Brad?
And also, one last point. I don't believe that this guy's a lone wolf either, Steve.
Yeah.
I think there are others working with him.
I couldn't agree with you more. They said that chicken restaurant would go, people would be there 24 hours a day. Something's up. What about it, Brad?
Well, I want to go with the evidence, not the theory. I want to point out, we just heard the phrase, these people, used 7 times in less than 2 minutes. The track record of arguments that proceed from these people, whether it's Muslims, blacks, Jews,
He's talking
Catholics,
about the people who want to kill us, Brad. He's talking about the people who want to kill us.
If we want to clarify and we want to use the phrase you used before, radical Islamic jihadists, I agree with you.
I want your comments on the
100%.
mayors. I want your comments on the mayors.
The expression, these people, it's a very...
That's ridiculous that you're focusing on that. These people are just a proper way of saying what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
These people has been used nefariously. We've got to be raised.
Yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson would know that. He's African American. We're talking.
And I'm Jewish,
we're talking about. We're talking about the mayors. Brad, you want to weigh in on the mayors?
My kid walked by the unexploded bomb Saturday night. This came very close to home. I will tell you what's most problematic about those mayor's statement. When they say this is vanishingly rare, it is proportionally rare among Muslims writ large across the world. To say that it is vanishing while we regularly bury the dead of terrorists inspired by that same tradition, that's what's profoundly not only insensitive, but misguided. Something can be statistically rare, but not vanishing. All right,
speaking of that, Donald Trump Jr., let's put up the next, not the one, the Skittles. Yeah, he tweeted out, this image says it all. Let's end the politically correct agenda that doesn't put America first. And it says, if I had a bowl of Skittles and I told you just 3 would kill you, would you take a handful? and it says that's our Syrian refugee problem. We have 30 seconds for each of you. Brad, go first.
Sure, comparing people to Skittles is always a stupid idea. And using that phrase, America first, when it was a movement that was founded to appease Adolf Hitler,
Oh, come on,
is really
come
stupid.
on, come on, come on,
Stop
Adolf
using
Hitler.
insane.
I damn well support America first. I mean, what does that make me, a Hitler-loving Jew? I mean, come on, Brad. I expect better. Go ahead, Reverend, your turn.
You know what? It's time out for political correctness. It's time to protect the American citizens. And by allowing these refugees to come in unchecked, you're putting all of our lives at risk. And the one thing I do appreciate about Donald Trump is that he's breaking the silence of political correctness and dealing with reality.
Okay.
And that reality is that we have enemies out there who want to kill us.
Gotta go.
And Donald Trump wants to protect us first.
Reverend
That's
Jesse Lee
important.
Peterson, Brad Hirschfield, thank you both very much. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, give me 5. You're not going to want to miss this, I promise you. Narcissism. He is Barack Obama. Don't miss this.